Hey guys, welcome once again to our very special Top 10 Schmoedown Moment Summit here on Take 3 Productions. Today we are going to be running down our top 10 Schmoedown matches of all time. Now, do note, breaking the fourth wall here for just a hot second. We are recording this before Spectacular, so the matches in Spectacular 2017 are not included in any of our lists because we are ignorant of all things Spectacular until that airs. In our special Spectacular Summit, we will be running down our favorite moments and stuff from that, and next year they will obviously be a part in contention for our lists. But not today, my friends, not today. We are running down our top 10 matches of all time with my guests Abe, Chris, Matt, Manning, and Malcolm. How are you guys doing? You guys ready to rock this?
Yep.
Rock it, baby.
So ready.
Beautiful, beautiful energy this time. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So guys, we are going to be running down in threes. We are going to be going through our 10, our 8, or 9, our 7, 6, or 5. Our 4, or 3, or 2, our number ones, and then our one. What we're actually going to be, since I'm really messing this up right now, we're going to be doing our runners up before our number ones because you know that's pacing, that's drama, that's theater. That's going to be great. But anyway, guys, we are going to be going through our 10, our 8, and our 9 first and foremost. And I'm going to start with you, Malcolm Lay. Malcolm Lay, who is your what matches are land in your 10, your 8, and your 9?
My number 10 match of all time is Josh McCougar versus Mark and Draco, or Finstock, or whatever he wanted to be called for that match. Because simply for the reason, like, everyone expected McCougar to beat Tom Dagnino Finstock, but when Mark and Draco came out in the Finstock mask, everyone thought, oh, McCougar's out, McCougar's not going to beat him. But McCougar showed that he has what it takes to take on Mark and Draco and win, because this was back when Mark and Draco was considered sort of to be one of the best because he took on Bibiani and just pretty much was up there. My number 9 is the Schmoedown match, because now with the celebrity matches, everyone's like, oh, they're easy questions, they're spoon-fed, but the Schmoedown match, it was different because they actually had Breanne Chandler and Clark Wolf as team captains, and the questions were actually rather challenging, and I put it in my top 10 because of the unexpected knowledge that some of the Schmoedown actors actually had and could pull out answers that no one expected them to get. So, I mean, and then my number 8 match I've got is Nerds Watch versus Blofeld's Cat. And I put this up here because just for the pure reason that Rachel showed that she can take on 2 people and almost defeat them. And I mean, the other one is the moment of Ken officially submitting his turn to the dark side was when it actually my number 1 moment of all time. So that's sort of elevated this match.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. That match in particular is just 100% theater and fantastic. Abraham, Abe, what is your 10, your 9, and your 8?
Okay, my number 10. I'm gonna start with a classic one of the best of all time. It was the second match of the season in 2016, Rocca versus Matt. I mean, there's nothing else you can say about that match, only that it's incredible. It started the whole rivalry between the competitors, and probably the biggest one we've ever had behind Riley and Rocca, Mance versus Rocca. And it was built already from movie fights until it happened there. And the best moment, one of the best of all time from any Schmoedown you can say. And it's and it's one you remember every time you think about the Schmoedown. Number 9. It was Top 10 versus Modok or Rotten Tomatoes. A lot of people don't remember this match but it's
Love
one of
it,
the
man.
best matches. I think top 10 in Rotten Tomatoes hit all of their second round questions in that match. It was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Only it was a 2-point difference, I think. I don't remember, but it was
Yes, 2-point difference.
it was one of the best matches of all time. And number 8, one more recent, is the Star Wars Fatal 5-Way, the most recent one. Not really because the surprise we got at the end, but because it was a battle. Like in the second round when Whitworth misses the first time, we said, I thought, oh, it's done. But then he came back, and then Alex came back, and then Screamshot came back, and it was a battle all the way until the end. And that Captain Nita question that gave Whitworth the victory was poetic. That's my number 8.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That Star Wars Fatal 5-Way we are going to be discussing more in the future. I can assume, just because of how awesome that match was. Manning Franks, what is your 10, your 9, and your 8?
Well, first off, hello there. It was getting hot because it's cold in here. Now I'm getting hot, so. But number 10 that I have is probably one that not many people are going to have. It's Stacey Howard versus Mark Ellis. That match, while it wasn't the highest scoring match ever you will find, it was one of the funniest matches, and their coordination at the very beginning for their entrances, where you have Stacey coming in, Kurt Russell from Big Trouble in Little China, Jack Burt. I was about to say Kern's going to come in and correct me exactly who it is, with the Pork Chop Express. But anyway, and then Baby Carrots, Dr. Baby Carrots coming in and saving the day and resuscitating that carrot is probably one of the best entrances those two paired up ever, and just having those witty one-liners back and forth, I thought was one of the most fun Schmoedown matches ever. And then number 9, we have a classic, and one that I will always love, because with it we got Boomaye, Schmo versus Top 10, their second round, when they would have the chance to go on the title upwards, the Top 10. And just the back and forth these two had, because this came down, you had the Spider-Man 2, Horror thought Ellis had gotten it, it's like, no, sorry. It's incorrect. And then pulling the Green Berets out of nowhere, what Roka did. Love that match. Love that match. And then number 8, we have another one that was down to the wire, and that was Team Action versus our friends Late to the Party. Now, what these two guys managed to do is to create an incredibly engaging back and forth. And Team Action also had one of the best entrances with the We're Reacting. I had no idea what they were doing, and then ultimately it came down them putting a chair and just laughing at the camera and saying we're reacting, and it still gets me one of my best moments. And then those guys came to play. They was going back and forth, and even with a deficit, the Late to the Party looked like they could have taken it, but in the end, it was Team Action that took it, and I love both those teams, and I could have been happier anyway with the performances that they did.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. I love that entrance too, with the chairs and everything. Matthew Kearns. I earned to hear what your 10, your 9, and your 8 are, Matthew Kearns.
But
I know.
Okay, so at number 10, I have Mike Kalinowski versus Rachel Cushing in Inner Geekdom. This was just a really anticipated match for me. Both of these people going in were two people who probably should have won their respective 5-ways, and so it was the thing of one's going to come out with a record that doesn't reflect them. Also, if you go back to our Robert Meyer Burnett episode on the live show, I talk about this match sort of came out at a stressful time in my life a couple of months ago when it premiered, and so it was just sort of something I needed, and so it's always going to hold a special place in my heart. At number 9, I have Josh Makuga versus Tom Dagnino. This is one of the funniest matches ever. I go back and I put this on when I need a good laugh. It's 5 rounds of just Tom and Josh just being so stupid, so funny, and the fact that Tom literally is Amy Adams away from beating Makuga is something I love, and expected. Even Josh McCougie, he thought this was gonna be he was gonna slaughter Tom. You know, it's just a fun match. Like again, like I said, this is a match I just like to put on when I need a laugh. And then at number 8, I have the Council versus Force Bros. This was the first ever Star Wars match. I want to talk about trash talking. God, the Council and Force Bros have some great lines. You know, Nap sucking ball bag. What was it? Freddie Prince Geller. And I mean, the match itself, it's Star Wars, and you got a bunch of guys who really know their stuff. A lot of fun, and you know, I would really love to see both teams go at it again because hashtag Nerf Herder Gate. I'm still fighting it from last year. But, yeah.
Nerf Herder Gate indeed. But I'm opening the gates real here right now, and I'm opening them for Christopher Doman. Christopher Doman, what is your 10, your 9, and your 8?
My number 10, which actually you should be very appreciative of here, Buster. Yep. I have critically acclaimed versus our good friends Late to the Party. This was a match I genuinely had a lot of excitement for. Like, because here's the thing. Literally, like, yes, going in, of course I wanted Late to the Party to win, but I didn't expect them to. I expected critically acclaimed to get way further because I had them in the finals. I had them getting to face off against top 10 and losing. That didn't happen. My bracket got busted right away. And I was okay with it, actually. Plus, it was also one of our best reactions because that cold open with you and Evan, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But, the reason why I love that match so much, it proved to me that, guess what, people? The fans have a place in the Schmoedown. We then go to my number 9, which is IGN versus Rotten Tomatoes / MODOK. Dude, this match, oh my god. Literally, one answer made all the difference in this match. Clammy hands, baby.
Oh,
and,
boy.
Seriously, like, I was given the privilege of being on the Schmoedown Rundown to talk about this match. And the conversations that we had both on air and off air about it, just from that alone, that's why it's my number 9. Like, just because of the conversation that we had from it. And, again, I have to thank Aaron, Brian, and Frank for the opportunity. My number 8 is the It Losers Club Free-for-All. I get to see Mike from Stranger Things and Jaden Lieberher from my favorite movie of last year, Midnight Special, and the rest of the cast of It compete in the Schmoedown, and you know what? They actually do pretty okay. Granted, yeah, the questions are a little bit easier because they're kids, but simultaneously, they did pretty well, I thought. Like, given everything that they had to go for, that was a pretty good fight. So, it was great. It was arguably, in my opinion, the best celebrity Schmoedown we've had yet. So, and plus it was to promote a fantastic film, which was It. So that's my number 8.
Beautiful, 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 and I personally feel like the It match is one of the best celebrity matches ever. Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. My number 10 is actually one of the most one-sided matches in Schmoedown history. Mega Powers versus the Patriots. Ouch. One of the biggest slaughters ever. But it was one of the single funniest matches ever. The entire time you saw the pain in Josh McCouga's face during the entire match, and how embarrassed he was to have that douchebag as a partner. It was so funny. And the arrogance of the Patriots and how confident they were through the entire thing was absolutely hilarious. You have to watch that match for yourself just to experience the horror. It's a horror match. It is terrible. It is a disaster. It is basically the family game night version of a Schmoedown, and it is fantastic. Yeah, it's a complete disaster. At number 9, I have the very notoriously, well, infamous blindfold match between Roca versus Harloff, one of the greatest matches ever. Very, very, very high scoring. Both Roca and Harloff were on their A game, and you didn't know who was going to win that match, and you were on the edge of your seat as if you were watching an early season of The Walking Dead. It was ridiculous. I cannot stress enough how unpredictable that match was, and it was all because John Roca had a blindfold on, and it was fantastic. Then I have at number 8, one of my favorite matches is Roca versus Riley. Yes, even though I hate the fact that Matt was so happy to when Riley beat Roca and his little dance, it was still a fantastic match.
Oh, wait,
and
do you mean Roca Riley 3?
Oh yes, I do mean Roca Riley 3. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Not the one where he lost to Roca. The one where he actually won to Roca. Yeah, twice. Oh yeah, he lost twice. I meant the Karate Kid match with with Riley and Roca. And you know, this match, even though the outcome wasn't what I wanted to see Matt cry. This match still was really, really, really good, and the theatrics and the passion they both brought to that match cannot be underestimated. Now we are going to go to our 7, our 6, and our 5er, and I am going to pitch the ball over to Manning Franks. Manning, what is your 7, your 6, and your 5?
My 7 is one that I think you will appreciate quite a lot. It's Andrejko Bibiani when they came onto the scene last year. It is definitely still one of my favorites that I go back to because this was the moment that we realized there are people outside of the circle that we have with Schmoes and already established. It's when Mark Andrejko came and proved to everyone that he'll have his off days if we remember the Humphrey v. Andrejko match, but he also when they gave us the XX5XX, and that is still a feat that we still, as if you guys watched the previous one, that one might make it on our top moments. But it is something to be reckoned with. These two people were forces. And then how Bibiani answered at the very end, he's like, Pinocchio! This guy is absolutely confident what he does. And Andrejko is still also someone not to be messed with either. And this was a full-on party of like, hey, we're opening up the Schmoedown to all aspects of the film community. Come on in if you have your knowledge. Come in and show what you can do. And then finally, number 6, we have my favorite Inner Geekdom match, and that is Kalinowski v. Cushing. The single greatest entrance. The single greatest entrance with Galadriel. It was in my top moments of all time, is when Cushing came there and just stole the show with how she presented herself as Galadriel. But the match itself is from two powerhouses. These are two arguably the greatest Inner Geekdom players that we have currently facing right now. And it's a shame both of them couldn't win because they both deserve that title shot. And also having Rachel nearly turn heel over the inclusion of the controversial James Bond category, that was also a sight to behold. And then finally at number 5, we have a match of the ages where we had a points record, and that is Above the Line versus Wolves of Steel. Right, either one of them could have gone to the very end, because they are both that good. They brought their A+ game. It was back and forth, back and forth. It really came down to just missing like one or two or going to multiple choice. But what they did and how good they are together, each team, be it Clark and Riley or Levine and McWeeny, these guys are the real deal. And it saddens me that's how Wolves Steel went out, but they went out on a high note because this was one of the best games they have ever played. And then having the above the line just kind of cement themselves as someone to be reckoned with, because if Wolves of Steel couldn't take them down, it's going to be hard to see who can stop them. And we'll find out. That's the spectacular.
Well, we found out.
Well, we found out. Well, I don't know yet, but you know.
Yet.
We don't know yet. But speaking
Well,
of... Well, Manning, speaking of Wolves of Steel losing, Matthew Kearns, what is your 7, your 6, and your 5?
Well, actually, at number 7, I have a tie for Critically Acclaimed versus Late to the Party and Bibiani versus JTE, just because I like to watch Bibiani lose. I like to watch Chris. Oh, you know what? Also, oh man, it's actually a 3-way because I also have Net losing the title against Navarro because that happened. You like that, Clark?
Ouch.
No, really. At number 7,
sad.
I have Team Action versus Top 10 from this year's tournament. I mean,
Really?
by God, you want a great team match with two teams that I think actually hate each other? Go and watch this match. I swear, especially if you listen to recent top 10 shows, it's spectacular. It's going to be really interesting when these guys play again. I mean, just there's so many great moments. Like Matt knows, just like he has his feet up, just like on the table. Get Andrew Guy and Ben Bateman getting into Roca and Nose Head. I love it. It's great Schmoedown stuff. At number 6, I have a match that did not go my way, but you'll understand why it's on here. Is Riley versus Roca 1. The reason why this match is so high is, one, it was a great match between both of these competitors, but also this was kind of where a lot of stuff for me as a Schmoedown fan was did. This was the first ever Schmoedown trailer I ever did. It's actually still on SK Plus, the channel. This was also when my fandom arrived. Like, this was when everyone knew who I was. I mean, this was when John Roca, I think, really first started to hate me guts and would fear me every time Riley would play him. And again, an amazing match, even if it didn't quite play. And then at number 5, I have Campia versus Merle. John Campia, you guys, if you watched our video, favorite competitors. I put this match so high because without this match, I'm not here talking to you guys. I'm a terrible person on YouTube. If I don't like a video series kind of right off the bat, I kind of just write it off. But this was just, maybe it wasn't the highest scoring, just the trash talking, just everything about it was just, it was just fantastic. I mean, John Campia is still one of the best on the mic. I mean, you know, you bend down, you kiss this ring, and maybe I'll let you forfeit your matches so your mothers don't have to see you cry. So, yeah, that's my 7, my 6.
all right, my 7 is quite possibly actually it is my favorite team match of this year, and that is Above the Line versus Wolves of Steel. Literally, the only way that this match was going to be won was by someone getting the points record. That's the only way. Because you have 4 powerhouse players, 4 of the best of all time. And literally, there was no way it was going to be less than 30 points per team. There was no way it was going to be the winner of this goes on to absolutely dominate the finals. But sadly, it wasn't the team that I was secretly rooting for. Because yes, I did have Above the Line objectively winning the match, but I wanted Wolves of Steel to come through, mostly for Kearns, because I'm a good friend.
Spinner's choice.
But you know, and here's the thing: yeah, sure, Team Spinner's choice, but they know their stuff. They absolutely know their stuff, and like I believe it was Manning who said this. If they had to go out, they went out on the highest possible note. My number 6, Clark, you're gonna love me for this one. Bibbs and Draco. Objectively speaking, this is still the best singles match of all time. Objectively speaking, Bibbs scored a perfect game. That doesn't happen. Plain and simple. That just doesn't happen. Like I can't really name anyone else off the top of my head. Any one competitor who actually pulled a perfect game.
Mark Ellis didn't win, but it was perfect game.
That's the old rules. I'm talking in this new format.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you should rephrase it.
Oh, whatever. But bottom line, it's still one of the best matches of all time. And my number 5 is a match I got to see live. The Star
Evan.
Wars Fatal 5-Way. But you know, here's the thing. I'm not really gonna rub this one in. Because to be honest, it hurt I saw this one live because I had to watch the end result of it live, and it broke my damn heart. But aside from the controversy, that match, that panel, when you have Maul himself, Alex from Star Wars Explained, who has a wonderful singing voice, might I add, as I learned from doing karaoke afterwards. And you also have Joseph Scrimshaw, a fellow Minnesotan originally. You have Steele Saunders, one of the funniest people around. And you have Shayna, who was just a really awesome, nerdy woman. And I didn't know where that match was going to go. It could have fallen into anybody's hands. But the fact that I was, able to just soak that in, watch their knowledge, that meant so much to me. Number 5.
My number 7 match I've got is Blofeld's Cat versus Top 10. I picked this one because, like everyone has mentioned the Above the Line versus Silver Steel match, they wouldn't have beaten the points record if Top 10 hadn't set the points record previously. And it was a really competitive match, and it was fun to watch because it was pretty much John and Matt getting revenge on the traitor Robert Meyer Burnett, and it was just so fun to watch with everything in place. My number 6 match is Sam Levine versus Dan Murrell from Collision. Sam had just won the free-for-all and came out to cash in his title match against Dan Murrell. Like, even he said in his interview, like, he doesn't know why he chose to do it at the end, but he wanted to take him on, and he came. Like, everyone thought it was going to be a complete one-sided match and Dan Murrell was going to destroy him, but Sam Levine showed sort of why he is there, because he took Dan to the last question, and he just almost won, but it wasn't his time. But whether or not he took the title from Harloff, we don't know yet, so just have to wait and see. It leads me into match number 5, and that's the free-for-all. It was a completely new idea for a match, and taking inspiration from the Royal Rumble, and it had a whole lot of great moments, whether it's John Humphreys from Real Rejects lasting so long, whether it's Mark and Draco taking out almost everyone, everyone that were favourites to win, and whether it's Tom Dagnino for some reason just about winning the whole thing, which I'm glad he did it. The free-for-all was just a big, crazy mess, and it was fun to watch.
Okay, my number 7. People say Team Action is the best trash talkers ever. Well, I want to tell you one team that it's top-notch in this case is ETC. And they brought it against Team Trek at the Spectacular. This match, just for the trash talk itself, is one of my favorites. I go back and just see the intro, fucking post stands, and Ricky had to buy an electric car because he didn't want to watch man's face on the gas stations. Everything on this match is incredible. Elliot trying his best Hulk Hogan impression. I don't know what that was. and it was fantastic. I love seeing that match. Number 6 is the Inner Geekdom 4-way, the last one, the one that just happened 2 months ago, from when you're seeing this. But this, just the surprise of seeing Jay Washington going all the way, like he could actually have won the match. I was surprised with that because I was saying maybe Jason was gonna win, but Rachel May, I don't know. But seeing Jay was the biggest surprise for me, and it had an intensity that I couldn't believe. I was sweating from my pants and stuff like that. Number 5 is it's one of Clark's favorite, I believe, and everybody's, but it's the Beast versus the Android, Mark and Drake. I was crazy for this match. It was at the moment in the last season or 2 seasons ago that you said, "Oh, they're filler matches before the spectacular," but you see this match and they're the first round alone, 6 for 6, both of them. It was crazy, and then Viviani crushing it and Rock inviting him to the 4 Horsemen. This match was great. That's my number 5.
Bingo, bingo, bingo. That match I'm going to get to later. Indeed, indeed, indeed. My number 7, personally, is actually a surprise. Even though he lost this match is still what I contend one of the best Inner Geekdom matches ever, and that is Robert Maya Burnett versus Hector Navarro. This is where a lot of things sort of came from this match, including the semi-retirement of Pestilence to what everybody considers Robert's catchphrase, Navarro. This match originated everything, the rivalry, everything that you love about the whole Rob hating Hector Navarro. This match started it. But besides that, this match itself was fantastic, and we didn't know, when I watched this for the first time, I didn't know who was going to win or lose. A lot of things were on the line for this match, and it was very emotional for me. And even though Rob did lose, probably the biggest loss ever for me, this was a great match to watch, and I still watch it over and over and over again, believe it or not, even though he did lose, and even though I do like to pretend these matches don't exist. But this match was fantastic. And my number 6 is the only time John Campea has ever done a team, the second time he's done a team match in the Collider era, is Heroes versus Superhero News. This showed how good John Campea and Robert really worked together. This match was also really, really good in demonstrating how good Rob and John are at this game, because sometimes both of them do get a bum rap, because Campea has had not the best showing in the Schmoedown, nor has Rob, admittedly, and this match kind of proves that wrong because of how much they actually do know. And this match also is one of the originators of the whole Rob and Hector rivalry, and it's very special to me, and I do come back to that one a lot. And my number 5 is, Malcolm said this, Abe has said, the free-for-all. The free-for-all is amazing. The free-for-all is fantastic. And the free-for-all is basically not much you can really say that we haven't said before. The XX5XX, the surprise ending with Dagnino, the surprise thing with John Humphreys being the MVP. It all came together, and that whole table of the execution row where people just came in and got cut out, and then they finally got wiped out by Andreyko. You can't write that stuff. It was just great, great, great television. Great 3 hours of television. It was fantastic. Now we are going to go through our 4s, our 3s, and our 2s. I'm going to start with Abraham. Abe, what is your 4, your 3, and your 2?
Number 4. It's Patriots versus Top 10 number 1. Okay, this match was terrible, trivia-wise, to be honest. There was not a lot of answers, but it was a back and forth that it was really entertaining. Seeing the Patriots win at the end when you hate them, but just seeing JT's face, it's worth it. because he had a terrible year in 2016 and getting the title at the end, winning it. That made me happy. That's why my number 4. Number 3, another match involving the Patriots. Fuck it. But it has one of my favorite teams. It's Patriots versus Schmoedown. Schmoedown coming back at the 3rd round in the betting round. I yelled, "Come on!" I was crazy for it. I scared my mom there too. I love this match. Schmoedown is one of my favorite teams. People say they lose it in the speed round. I don't believe that, to be honest. No, they did.
Yeah, they blew it. They
No,
blew it.
didn't.
They blew it.
No.
They
I
blew
don't
it.
care. Shut up. It's my fucking. But I love this match. I love seeing Great and actually finally getting their title shot. Not getting it at the end, but it also gave the Schmoedown community, gave Schmoedown the respect a lot of the Schmoedown community doesn't have towards them. Right now, everybody's talking about, oh, why Schmoedown is not in the conversation for the title match, stuff like that, and that's why I love that match. Okay, number 2 in the semifinal of the Ultimate Schmoedown, Wolves of Steel versus Above the Line. No question about it. This is the best team match ever. Everybody had a perfect round until question number 7, I think, in the first round. That would have been crazy. Then second round, killing it. Wolves of Steel only missed 1 question, and Above the Line hit it all, except 1 multiple choice, and they broke the points record. Also, as you guys have mentioned before, it was a great way to say goodbye to the Wolves of Steel, leaving the Schmoedown with their face up, and we got it. We're one of the best teams, and also it gave Above the Line the respect everybody needed.
At number 4, I have latest Star Wars Fatal 5-Way. I mean, this match was just insane. I mean, it was a great match of trivia. You got 5 people on there who know their Star Wars stuff, who anyone at any point would have taken this and won. And then you also have the thing of just storylines that came out of this. Ken joining the Lion's Den, Sam Witwer and Ken finally facing off. Just everything about this match is just kind of what I love the Schmo. At number 3, I have Riley versus JT2. This was when I first became Mark Riley fan, when I really got interested in him as a competitor. I mean, that KO of JT, great stuff. And of course, when Riley spins Star Wars in round 2 and JT, just you see the life drawn from his eyes. And then at number 2, I have Roka vs. Harloff. Just an amazing match. 2 guys playing on the top of their game. The blindfold. Freddie Prinze Jr. and John Campea on the table. Great as commentators. Just everything about this match is just a really epic and just fun match. And then when Roka pulls it at the end, I was just shocked, because I was like, at any point, it really just came down to someone just... it's just a great match.
My number 4... Actually, my 4, 3, and 2 are all going to have something to do with a galaxy far, far away. Big shock there. My number 4 is Team Schmoes versus Box Office Breakdown, the first ever team title match. My God, this was one of the best team matches we ever had. And this was the match that finally sort of got me on the JTE train a little bit, but that was more from sympathy, because by all accounts, Box Office Breakdown had no business being in this match. It should have been top 10 versus Schmoes for the belt the first time around. But that's not the way the cards played out. And seeing this match and seeing Harloff's entrance and oh my God, and same with Ellis coming out with Running with the Devil by Van Halen, and seeing JT and Finstock just in the most prime glory. before all the shenanigans went down. It was absolutely fantastic, and you know, for the briefest moment, my boys had the gold. They had it all. But that's not the way it could have gone. And speaking of matches that are somewhat fleeting now in terms of people talking about them still, number 3, Force Bros versus the Council. Oh my God. Out of all the questions asked in this match, I only missed one. I only missed one playing along at home.
You're a nerd.
I am an unapologetic Star Wars. I host a Star Wars podcast, for God's sakes. Come on, are you surprised?
No.
But, you know, seeing such smack talk, seeing such skill, seeing such ability from Freddie Prinze Jr., Sam Witwer, John Campion, Ken Knapsack, like this. And this match has had so many implications in terms of how the Schmoedown has gone since, because obviously this was supposed to, the rematch for this match was supposed to be at Celebration, but it turned out to just be, you know, 3 of them plus 2 others in a singles match and in a fatal 5-way. And now, as a result of it, it is essentially a rematch coming up at Spectacular, which, oh, God, just like last time, though, Sam, you know what I want you to do? I want you to kick his ass badly. But I absolutely adore that match, and of course what it meant for me. And then number 2, the match that officially got me into the Schmoedown, Roca Mance 1. Give you, I mean, and to be fair, it's because of my number 2 moment of all time, Bespin.
Yep.
Because you also had such a story between those two, from carrying over from movie fights to the Schmoedown, and how just, like, they even showed it on camera. They couldn't even be behind the scenes together. They were just so angry towards each other. It was hilarious, and it was inspiring almost. But yeah, Roca Mance 1, my number 2 of all time.
My 4 is one that has been mentioned already. That is Roca v. Harloff. That is still today, if not the best, one of the best singles matches we have ever had. You have 2 people, using this term before, at the height of their powers, who went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And even with Roca's blindfold, you had some amazing moments in there. I remember when he pulled out questions that I know that Harloff was just taken aback. He was like, and that face is something I will never forget. Just the shock and awe of what Roca managed to pull out, what Harloff managed to pull out. And it's just a match that I will continue going back to, especially with Freddie Prinze Jr. being the guest commentator on there. He was so funny. And I wish we had. Can you come back, Freddie Prinze, please? Come back and guest host a bit more. That was fun. And that is why this match will always be one of my favorite. No matter how far we get down to the Schmoedown, it's something I'll always look back fondly. And 3, this is, I wasn't even there. This is one of my favorite matches. It is the recent Star Wars match we just had, with everyone there, with Witwer, Scrimshaw, Damon, O'Neill, Saunders. It is a Star Wars nerd's dream that this happened. These 5 people who knew their Star Wars and just answered questions like this and that, this and that. It was an absolute blast to witness, an absolute blast to watch, and I wish I could have been there with Chris right there. We're like, oh, we know that one, nudging and like, oh, I know that one, and just getting so giddy over Star Wars. And that is why this is something I'll always treasure, because this came down to the wire. I was secretly hoping Scrimshaw would win as a Force Center watcher or listener, but Witwer, I can't fault that man. Is an absolute beast, and I am so happy they recorded that so we can watch it. Just people guessing Star Wars trivia, and that Captain Nita moment is still amazing, where it comes full circle. It's like poetry, and it rhymed. And then we also had Kin turn to the dark side, and that's a moment I'll never forget. Moment of silence for the man who once was. Anyway, and my number 2. And speaking of Nerds Watch, my number 2 is probably not many people are going to have this at all, but it is Nerds Watch v Team Action. This was probably one of my favorite. This is my favorite team match of all time, because these are next to the top 10. These are two of my favorite teams ever. And you have Team Action subverting expectations coming in. Oh look, I used subverting expectations again 2 days in a row. What do you know? Subverting expectations and coming in like not Team Action with their moms, and that entire shtick playing out beautifully to where we thought maybe they have done a face turn, and then having the Nerds Watch go back and until we went to sudden death multiple times, and no one could get it until the very end. They had to guess the decades that 40s when Dumbo came out, I believe. And
yeah,
you could see the look on their face. They were excited, but that was a hard-fought match by two excellent showmen. That is when you had Nerds Watch cement themselves as a pure powerhouse, and Team Action as, even though they lost, as people who will continue to come to play, because they know more than just action, and that proved it.
Well, my number 4 is Patriots versus Top 10 from Spectacular, because this started the Patriots' undefeated streak, and whether or not it's still intact, we'll find out. But the match was just incredible. It was incredible to watch. I mean, lots of points. It's just incredible. I mean, there's not many words I can describe this that I haven't already been said already. My number 3 is Above the Line versus Wolf of Steel, because I mean, I picked this one and I put it up quite high because it is the highest scoring team match ever, and it's so close. I mean, it could have gone either way. It just went down to the wire. And my number 2 is another Patriots match again, and it's Patriots versus Schmoedown. Once again, and I think to my knowledge, this is the highest scoring title team match that's been done. And which once again was incredible in itself, and it could have gone Modoc's way, but they blew it, and Patriots ended up retaining their title once again.
Awesome, Malcolm. My number 4 is actually a match that caused me a lot of pain and apologies. It's Action vs. Top 10. The outcome of this match actually caused me to say sorry and apologize to over 343 members of the Action Army live on Facebook. And I guess this is the only time I was actually avidly rooting for John Roca post Bibbs and Robert Meyer Burnett leaving the Horsemen. On top of that, though, this match itself had some of the best trash talks, one of the best intros ever for a match, and the match itself had a lot of atmosphere around it that really just elevated it to a very fun watch and experience to watch and react to, even though the outcome made me lose my voice, so to speak. At number 3 is actually, it was alluded to earlier in the video. It just happened at the time of this recording. Blofeld's Cat versus Nerds Watch. This was fantastic, and it proves that Mark Andreyko and Robert Meyer Burnett are masters at their craft. They beat the Nerds Watch. I do not care what anybody says. They beat the Nerds Watch.
Rachel Cushing.
They beat the Nerds Watch. 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 But it was awesome. You guys can shut up, or I'm gonna delete you from this call and remove you. But anyway. Look. What Ken did was something of passion and of honor. What Ken did showed loyalty to his faction, which is something that the Schmoedown needs to ascertain. He showed loyalty to the Lion's Den. It's loyalty. Loyalty. It's in my DNA, to quote Chance the Rapper. I think that's Chance. But look. It's loyalty. I am triggering everybody right now, but it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Loyalty or pestilence?
You need a psychologist.
And we're done, guys. That's it.
But
Nope.
just to finish off my point before I go to my number 2 is that Nerds Watch proved 2 things: that Mark Andreyko and Robert Meyer Burnett were indeed forces to be reckoned with, and that Ken is the most loyal person in the entire world because he was loyal to his faction. Great theater. Great theater. I cannot wait to see myself get ripped a new asshole in the comment section. But at number 2 is actually my favorite moment. It includes my favorite moment of all time, is the Inner Geekdom Spectacular 2016, where Robert won the belt. Nothing needs to be said about this. This is the greatest Inner Geekdom match of all time, and sometimes I like to pretend it's the only Inner Geekdom match that ever happened, but look, Rob won. I don't care if it was before the rules changed. He won this match fair and square, and let's just say Hector didn't put up a fight. Rob swept the entire round. As much as I think we all like to admit, Rob swept the entire game. He did, and he won fair and square. I don't care about the truth as long as I believe it. Anyway, though, guys, we are going to go through our runners up. Before we get to our number 1s, we're gonna leave you hanging for a second, yo. We're gonna go through our runners up, and I'm gonna go straight to Chris Doman. Chris Doman, who are your 2 runners up for this list of very controversial matches? This is very, very different lists that we've had so far.
Very different lists, but you know what? It's everyone's got some good lists. You know, because they're all unique.
Yep.
And I don't mean that in a condescending way. Like, everyone's got some genuinely good picks for them and why they love the Schmoedown. My first runner-up is Patriots versus Trek, because Buzzergate,
Eva.
and Eva. I'm sorry, but yeah, no, Trek won that match. There's no question to it. Trek won that match, but they got screwed. And there's nothing we can do about it. My other runner-up is the Inner Geekdom match between Rob Meyer Burnett and Jeremy Johns, because it was a great fight on its own, but it also gave us one of my favorite moments in the Schmoedown of all time, which is, of course, really? Fuck me! Need I say more?
So my first runner-up is Mike Kalinowski versus Brianne Chandler. I mean, these are 2 people who are just on point when it comes to entrances. It was a great match played by both of them. Also began one of my favorite rivalries in the Schmoedown. As Brianne likes to say, Mike Kalinowski seems to be the only person she plays in the Schmoedown. Just a fun match. My other runner-up is what I believe is the first celebrity match, technically, which is Freddie Prinze Jr. versus Sam Whitworth. Again, super fun match. This is also when we got the first taste of Sam with trivia, and also my favorite moments, which is Sam Whitworth out John Campy at the end of it.
My first one up that I've picked is from the singles tournament this year, and it's McGreeny versus JTE. I mean, it only just didn't make it in because JT beat one of my best competitors, but this match went all the way down to the wires, like to a battle of sudden death where no one was really sure what was going to happen. So, like, JTE proved that he belongs in the Schmoedown and he can continue beating like some people who claim to be the best. And my other runner-up is the triple threat match, Mark Riley versus Dan Mill versus John Roker. And because this was the 3 best champions that Schmoedown has had, and it just shows why each of the 3 have been champions at any one time.
after your words about Kin, I'm debating changing it now all of a sudden, but I will stick with what I have for my runner-ups, and that is Bibbs v. Mance earlier this year. That match was fantastic. It really brought Bibbs back into the conversation of like after his loss, he was like, nope, he still has it, he still got it. And then you also have Mance as well, proving once again after that rather embarrassing. Yeah, but him and Rudnick, woo, that was but he proved that he does know his stuff, and that was a good battle to the very end. Plus, we also get my favorite line, "Give me that throat, boy. Give me that throat." So good, so good. And then my other one is Patriots v. Modoc. That is another one that goes down to the very wire. People have already talked about it. It's something that I forgot until like, oh yeah, that was also. So I had to put that in my runner-up, because it is also one that took it down to the wire. Yes, they kind of choked at the little end, but hey, you know what? It was a good match.
One of my runners-up is Christian Harlow versus William B. Viviani. A lot of people talk about Andreco and Viviani, but don't forget this match. Both of them have 2 perfect rounds. Viviani the first and second, and Harlow the second and third round, which was crazy. And this was the match that set Harlow to getting the title, which was a great match. And my other runner-up is Modoc or Rotten Tomatoes at the time versus IGN. As the only person that loves Modoc, oh, that shit.
I love them.
Oh,
yeah, but a lot of people don't talk about it. But getting Jeff Goldblum at the end, I start dancing like Great Drake, She danced really good. And I love that match, so that's my only runner.
Oh, great, Abe. My runners-up are as follows. It's actually Roca Mance won, as was said earlier. It is the actual match that catapulted what the theater in this Schmoedown is, and catapulted what John Roca was in the Schmoedown to who he was before he changed to face, and kind of was the turning point of the Schmoedown in its entirety. I wish I put that on my list, but hindsight is 20/20. And my other runner-up was actually one of, as we said, our best reactions. One of the matches where I was on the edge of my seat and got literally pissed off is Critically Acclaimed versus Late to the. Much love and power to Robert and Vanessa for that match. Indeed. And now, ladies and gentlemen, is the moment that you've all been waiting for in anticipation. Who's your number uno?
Numero uno. Okay. I'm going to give you a little bit of history. On September 15, 2013, the second to last episode of Breaking Bad was released, and it's called Ozymandias. Creator Vince Gilligan called this episode the most Breaking Bad of all episodes. And this match is what's for me for the Schmoedown, and it's Riley versus Roca. The title match. If you think about it, it's the most of you get of the Schmoedown. A story, a great match, 2 different a hero and a villain fighting to get the championship at the end. And it was so exciting from listening Ennio Morricone, Roca entrance music, and then the Karate Kid entrance. Everything in this match is amazing. The post-match interviews, Roca trying to crash the triple threat match at the Collision, and it's a fantastic match.
I can't stress enough, that match is amazing. Karate Kid all the way. Malcolm, what is your number one?
Well, my number one is also a title match. It's Christian Harloff versus Dan Murrell. Simply because, for me, it's number one because the creator of the Schmoedown finally got his hands on the belt. And like no one thought he would ever beat Dan Murrell, and I mean it also sort of led to Dan Murrell announcing at the end that he's going to take a break from the Schmoedown, effectively retire for a bit. But ultimately, like the match, it went down to the wire. It was competitive and and it put stop, I think, to all those people out there going, "Oh, the Schmoedown's big." Like, it's all the questions are fixed. I mean, it put a stop to all that because I haven't seen much of it since. So that, like, I mean, Christian finally getting the belt is the main reason why I've put this number 1.
Awesome, Malcolm. Awesome. Matthew Kearns, what is your number 1 match of all time?
My number 1 match of all time is actually the same as Gabe. It's Riley Roca 3. Not only does this have my favorite moment, Riley won the belt back, but like Gabe talked about, we want to talk about history of Schmoedown, talk about a rivalry like Mark Riley and John Roca. And being a Mark Riley fan, everything in this match was working against him. He gets opponent choice in round 2. He just didn't quite hear the screen question, which in his, it's in his ballpark. And then not only that, but also the fact that this match and him winning came down to his opponent getting or missing his question. So everything was against Mark Riley. But like the Karate Kid, which he was one of his best entrances, arguably actually his best, won the belt. And amazing, you guys could go and watch my reaction to the match. It is still my favorite match. I think it would take a lot in the Schmoedown to be able to beat something like this. Like, I think even if you're not a Mark Riley fan like I am, just the fact of like, this is just a great culmination of building up to an amazing title match.
Indeed, even though it's fun to watch Matt cry, it's also great to see Matt happy and succeed. Now, Manning Franks, who is your number 1? I mean, what is your number 1? The match in general.
If we are being honest, this is also a who is your number 1, because this is in conjunction with my favorite moment, because my favorite match, and this is a personal list, guys. It's Merle v. Roca for the championship. Sure, it wasn't the best, the highest scoring match you will ever see, but what this was for me, someone I've been watching for. This was the completion of a journey with all the theatrics, with the trivia right underneath there, with the story going. And it ended on a high note. It ended with the Roca face. It's just like, yes! It ended with that in a glorious finale where Merle... Exactly, Chris, exactly. With Merle showing, yes, he can bleed. He is human. And it showed that Merle could bleed. The Russian was cut. And it showed, Roca, if you fight from the smallest deficit, where you have or the largest deficit, and you have the best incident, and you saw how that match played out in just sheer theatrics and sheer trivia knowledge, and how he grew as a competitor, and how Merle, this was my Rocky and Ivan Drago.
Amen to that, Manning. Chris, I think you know what I'm going to ask you. What is your number 1 match of all time? Oh, wow.
What else?
Yeah.
What else?
You don't even have to say it.
What else?
I
mean...
Got you there. Got you there.
No. Where this originated from. And I'm going for the competitor that I'm representing the competitor I didn't want to win. However, this is my favorite match because Roca Mance got me into the Schmoedown. And being aware of the Schmoes prior to, it got me even more hyped, it got me more interested. This right here, John Campia and Freddie Prinze Jr. are hosting this incredible showdown that has been building for months. Smack Talk videos left, right, center. Hell, the opening video after the JTE trailer. So I'm going over to Ballbag City. I'm going back there. I'm going to go fight the mayor. The Smack Talk was perfection. And while, again, I am saddened that Harloff wasn't able to pull the win because somehow, some fucking how, Roka pulled the Curse of Michael Myers for 3 points. This was the match that officially made me say, I am in love with the Schmoedown. It made me officially want to really get involved in starting a fan league. This was the match that, as a trivia competitor myself, I can only dream I will have that epic of a match.
My number one is Bibiani versus Andreyko. Indeed, indeed,
What a
indeed.
surprise.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
Shocking.
Yeah, but look, this match...
You're a Bibbs fan?
A little bit, yeah. But look, this match not just cemented it was my introduction to Bibbs and why I'm now a huge fan of Cancel Too Soon and B-Movies Podcast, may it rest in peace and critically acclaimed. But also this match, until like more than half of this season, was still the highest scoring singles match ever and only beaten by title matches, period. So this match, everybody who's had this on their list has beaten it to death and said how amazing it is. This match in particular, just you didn't know who was going to win, and Mark Andreyko only lost 1 point. He only lost to one. He only lost one question. He only got one question wrong. This match will go down in history as still one of the greatest debuts ever, if not the greatest debut ever for two competitors, regardless. Even if Andreyko lost, it's still one of the best debuts anybody has ever had, even if he lost that match. And Bibbs, of course, still contends as that's the greatest debut ever from a singles competitor to begin with, in my opinion. That match was magic. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes part 3 of our special Top 10 Summit Marathon of January here on Take 3 Productions. I would like to thank all of my guests. Abe, where can the good people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter at AbrahamF25 and follow me on Letterboxd at AbrahamFlores25 and my Schmoedown account called Schmoedown Center.
Matthew Kearns, where can the good people find you online?
You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovie611 on YouTube, and hosting both the Movie Fandom Show and Russellin' on Russell here on Take 3.
Yep, during the intermissions on the live show on Friday nights. Manning Franks, where can the good people find you online?
You can find me at Abraham70. Oh wait, that's not my Twitter handle. You can find me at Cine_man. That is CINEMANN. As well as various Take 3 things like, and the winner is Nice the Podcast. Just whenever you find me across the internet.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Malcolm. Where can the good people find you online, my friend?
You can find me on various videos around Take 3. Like I'm on Twitter at Melkor, and yeah, just at Melkor. And I compete in various movie trivia things on the Worldwide Movie Games Network, and that's about it.
Cool. Chris Dillman, where can the good people find you online, my man?
You guys can find me on Twitter at my band Last Shot Redemption at LSAR Band. And man, you guys can follow Take 3 Productions on Twitter and Instagram at Take 3 Trivia. You guys can follow our sister channel, the Worldwide Movie Games Network, on YouTube and on Twitter at WWMGN Take 3. And you can find me on Letterboxd and Stardust at Chris Take 3. And of course, you can find me right here on Take 3 Productions hosting Nights of the Podcast.
And you can tell that he had all of that memorized because he has a blindfold on right now. And ladies and gentlemen, you can find me, Chris Clark, on Twitter and Instagram at ChrisClark8788. Those numbers mean nothing. You can find me here on Take 3 Productions hosting Suddenly Soundtracks, where we dissect a movie song by song and judge a movie solely based on the soundtrack that it provides. Every Friday or Saturday night, depending on when we want to have a disaster in our pants, we are on family game night, on and on to the end of dawn. Late nights we just play video games and talk and chatter and do some weird things. Or you can find me on YouTube at No Man's Land Entertainment. And also do not forget to check out Take 3's official website and iTunes feed. The links to those are in the layout right now. But go to www.take3productions.com just to see our iTunes feed and to subscribe and see our bios and all the great pics and stuff. Anyway, guys, take care and keep rocking.